and gentlemen, welcome over here to the Dascar Rally Championship Season number 1 2016 here on Ziggo Sports. We are here back again after, well, being away for 3 weeks or something. So it's fun to be back again. Stage number 4 we have of 5 stages, so indeed one more stage after this. This racetrack is this stage is the shortest of all. The times will be below 3 minutes. It is a twisty section, so a lot of turns. So it will end with a very fast last section. So the drivers have to remember that. If of course it's a short race, it's a short stage. So, well, it means that the differences between the drivers will not be very big. So, gaining time on another driver is not as easy as on other racetracks. And of course, as this racetrack is not the toughest one, it is also not. Therefore, the difference will also not be that big. But there can be a lot of time lost if you go off track and if you make mistakes. So you have to do as good as possible and be as careful as possible. Cutting corners is allowed, but sometimes it is, well, at least to a certain extent. And of course, sometimes it's not the smartest thing to cut corners. So that is what the drivers will have to remember. Previous stage number 3 in the mountains we were. And that stage unfortunately saw Sebastian Torres go and crash out of the rally. So Sebastian Torres not anymore in this rally. He will not start this stage. So, well, that means that everybody will have to do their best to get this rally stage finished with the best time going into the last stage, because we have only one more stage after this, and that's gonna be a tricky one. So also, one thing we want to say before we start is that, well, we've heard that Bryan Clauson has passed away, unfortunately, so that was pretty sad. I was waiting for good news, but unfortunately, well, it did not come. So our thoughts and prayers are with Bryan Clauson's friends and family and relatives. So therefore, that's sad. We want to get this stage underway. So ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the starting grid and the current standings first before we will get this rally stage underway. So taking a look at the standings and at the starting order, John Arndt is first, and that will mean that he will be first on the racetrack, and he has a full second over Joshua Michaels. And the rest of the field, as you can see, the gaps have become a little bit bigger between some and smaller between others. Barbara Sufi, Jerry Guerra and DJ Kerker still far in the back. So John Arndt, the first driver on the racetrack in the number 1 car. And there he goes. It's always difficult to be first on track because you're the first one out. So, but overall, John Arndt had a pretty clean run. Took it a little bit careful. He didn't have a whole lot of moments where he thought, well, that was dangerous. So that's a good thing. Over jump, pretty clean, a little bit of a slide, and he had a couple of those slides, but overall it was not too bad for John Arndt. And as he comes onto the fast section in a couple of moments, this next section we'll see in a couple of instances, which will be a little bit of a trouble spot. So onto the long fast part, John Arndt goes, and that is really a really fast part. So. And also, John Arndt did that very well. So it's also important. If you slow down on the fast section, you lose a lot of time. But John Arndt will put down a 17:54.43 in total, that is, of course. So pretty decent time for first out. So we'll see what the others can do. Joshua Michaels' second is next. So knowing what John Arndt does, has done, he will have some targets. He had a lot of grip, he said, in the first bit, so that's also a good thing because you want to have a lot of grip. It's all sand, so, well, having a lot of grip on the sand is good. That was a close call though, but he saved it. And way off track goes his jump, so, well, that was a little bit of a trouble spot, which I of course meant. There is, well, very wide, a little bit bouncy, and onto the fast bit. Eventually, he was a little bit messy in this second part, which we also saw previous time now as well. So he did, as he comes over the line, he did lose on time from John Arndt. 17:55.97 is currently his time, so 1.5 seconds behind John Arndt he currently is. So, could have been better for Joshua Michaels. Next up, Cody Smart in number 32. And Cody Smart had a very good first bit. He ran a little bit wide in turn number 1, but that is something that a lot of drivers did. Also a bit wide here, so, well, going wide many times. Look at this drift. Wow, that was fantastic. Looking from the helicopter shot, that was a beautiful drift. I will give that a 10, absolutely. However, of course, after that fantastic drift, he had a very messy fast bit. And as said, you gotta nail that fast bit, otherwise you are going to lose time. And unfortunately, that is indeed what Cody Smart did. He lost time of 17:56.20 is currently his time. So that is indeed almost 2 seconds behind John Arndt. So not the time that Cody Smart wanted. Next up, Gabriel Wanderley, the Brazilian race car driver, of course, with the Olympic Games being now in Rio. Well, that was a little bit of a moment. He had a good handling race car, but well, that was a little bit of a careless moment. This as well, and that was also dangerous. And a huge jump for Gabriel Wanderley, also something, well, you have to be a little bit careful with. He was very aggressive over the bumps, well, as you saw a couple of moments ago. However, his fast section was very, very smooth, and that is also important. So as he comes onto the front stretch again, he will put down a 17:57.45, and that's the slowest time of so far, and also the stage time is the slowest, so disappointing time, not what he wanted. He's a full second slower than Cody Smart. So Joseph Ernesto is up next. And we know Joseph Ernesto from having some good runs lately. So this is gonna be one of them? Well, that's the question. He runs a little bit wide in a couple of turns, but overall it was a very clean run. He didn't take a whole lot of risk, and that's also sometimes necessary, especially if you are pretty far up front. And that's why the front runners also took a little bit, took the stage with a little bit more care. And Joseph Ernesto had a good handling race car, barely at a moment's end. Therefore, he puts down the fastest stage time so far, with almost a full second over John Arndt, 17:55.37, which is currently the second fastest time. So he passes both Joshua Michaels, Cody Smart, and Gabriel Wanderley. Emmanuel Harnett is up next, and he said that his car was very uncontrollable. He had no grip at all in his Mitsubishi. So, well, that's always difficult, and he runs wide as well. Big jump? No, not at all. Very carefully over the jump. That's something, if you have a bad handling race car, that's good. Sometimes that was a little bit close call. And he had a couple of those moments that weren't extremely big, but this one, that was quite big. Almost tipping it over on its side, and that's not what you want, and therefore he had to lift again. Let's take another look at that. Oh, beautiful shot. And then Emmanuel Harnett, he will come across start finish line 17:57.98, currently the 6th time overall and the 5th fastest stage time. So he was just 0.02 seconds slower than Cody Smart. So Daniel Burkhardt in the number 87 car is up next. He said that his car was quite loose, and there is, well, going a little bit wide in turn number 1, hard over the bumps, and he did that many times in this stage. And this is another one. Look at this onboard. Bam! Hard on the rev limiter as well. So Daniel Burkhardt with a little bit of slide, there was a little bit of careless slide. So Daniel Burkhardt also had a little bit of a messy fast part, which is not what you want, as said previously many times. So not really the stage that Daniel Burkhardt had hoped for. And as he will come onto the front stretch now, he puts down a 17:59.70, which is currently the slowest time, and the 1-2 slowest stage time. So Daniel Burkhardt not having the run he wanted. Nikki Maxwell, number 25, he is up next. And also, well, Nikki Maxwell, he said that he had quite a lot of grip, so well, compared to Daniel Burkhardt. Nikki Maxwell did have a couple of moments. That was also one of them. Here over the jump. Whoop, a little bit of slide. But overall, those moments were not that big. So, and the most important part, he was very clean, and that is also important. So, Nikki Maxwell, as he comes onto the fast parts, that also went pretty well for him. So, no real big mistakes. And therefore he comes across start finish line in 59.55. That means he's faster than Daniel Burkhardt and his third fastest stage time. So, well, that was a satisfying run for Nikki Maxwell. Just 0.01 seconds, by the way, behind Joshua Michaels, his stage time was. Mitch Brett is up next, and that will mean that we're almost halfway already. Mitch Brett had a lot of grip. And that's, well, at least in the first part. He will run a little bit wide here and there and have a couple of slides, but overall it was very clean. Look at this jump though, that was really big. Hard landing on his car. That is tough for the suspension. And he also loses control of the car a little bit. And of course, obviously means that he lost a little bit of time over there. Now onto the in the S's, he will lose even more time with that big slide. So Mitch Brett's throwing it away a little bit, and well, especially those moments really ruined his run. Tried to improve, but it did not work out. 18:01.24, the 9th fastest time so far, so he's pretty much dead last in overall, and the 8th fastest stage time. So bad run for Mitch Brett. Next up, Zachary Fiske, number 39. Zachary Fiske took it also pretty easy, well, pretty calm. Just an ordinary run for him, but still it was good. He didn't take any risk. He had a couple of slides here and there, but I think that Zachary Fiske has done a great, job over here. Goes a little wide there, a little bit onto that rock, and well, coming onto the fast bit, there is also a little bit of a slide. Of course, those slides don't really matter too much. Coming across the line, 18:00.29, 9th fastest time overall, 3rd fastest stage time. So, good run for Zachary Fiske. And indeed, he gained a spot as he passed Mitch Brett. So, next up, Nathaniel McGee in the number 4 car. And Nathaniel McGee had made barely any mistakes in his run. He had a very clean run. And also something very necessary after his, well, especially the second stage for him was a little bit messy with the spin. Had a few slips and slides here and there. There it goes a little bit wide. But overall it was just an ordinary run, pretty much like the first driver's bit, like the John Arndt did. And that's something you really want. As he crossed the start finish line, 18:00.72, the 10th fastest time. A 4th fastest stage time, so that's also good news for Nathaniel McGee as he gained a little bit on these other drivers. Chris Dodd in the number 8 car is up next. He had a lot of grip and a great handling race car, he said. Oh, a little bit of a moment here and there, and especially this moment really lost him some time. Over the jump, here he goes. Big time, trying to gain back the time and lost in that slide. And well, you might wonder, is that really a whole lot of time that he lost? Well, eventually proved to be quite a lot of time that he lost. Had a couple of slips and slides as well later on in the stage. But coming across start finish line, 18:02.47, which is currently the 12th time this is indeed dead last. And the 10th fastest stage time, so a bad run for Chris Dodd, a disappointing run once again. Sanne Koersen, number 51 car, is up next, and she had a very quick car, and that's pretty cool. Let's take a look at these jumps. These jumps are quite hard on your car, especially the second and the third one. That will come later on with the last drivers. We will get to that point once again. Sanne Koersen through the S's, big slide here and whoa, over the rock. That was a really big moment for her, and she tries to make up time, but well, oh no, actually I read the wrong part. Anyways, eventually she had a good time still even after that moment, 18:01.65, passing Chris Dodd, and the second fastest stage time. That's quite impressive after those moments. So Sven Meyer is up next in number 28 car, the German rally racer, and of course he has a whole lot of experience. And this is the stage where he really showed how much experience he has, how much, well, expertise. And as he had a very good run, look at this. That was absolutely perfect. We know that that it was Cody Smart who did a great drift over there. Was it Cody Smart? Yeah, I think so. But Sven Meyer also did a fantastic job over there. Incredible run for Sven Meyer, as he will come across start finish line just very soon. A very flawless, well, not even flawless, but 2:45.09. That is a fastest stage time, and that is with a full 2 seconds faster, 2.5 seconds faster than who was leading. So 18:00.15 for Sven Meyer, 8th time overall. That is impressive. So Aiden Shepard in the 48 car is up next, and he, well, tried to do the same thing, take the same lines as Sven Meyer did, and that was pretty good over there. As said, he succeeds sometimes in doing what he wanted to do, but at other times, well, it pretty much didn't work out very well. Now over through the S's, that was pretty decent. Could have been better though. A little bit wide here and there, and he started making more mistakes as his run continued. But this one was by far the biggest. Oh, that almost took him out of this rally. Almost flipped him over, Aiden Shepard. Another look at this. He just clipped the inside of that mountain on a sandy dune, and that almost tipped him over on his roof. So Aiden Shepard, he lost a whole lot of time in that deal. But well, eventually it will put down 18:06.83, which is the slowest time and the slowest stage time as well, by a big margin. So, well, at least he finished, let's say it that way. Barbara Sufi in number 21 car is up next, so 3 cars still left. Sorry. Barbara Sufi was really pushing. She was very far behind the others, so she was just pushing very hard, taking different lines. That was a good line. And Barbara Sufi pretty much nothing to lose. Hard over the jump. She really took a whole lot of risks, but eventually she made those risks worth it, because she will have put down a time which is blindingly fast. Coming across start finish line, fastest stage time, 18:08.38 is her time, which is still the slowest so far. Well, that's pretty much because she's that far behind, but she has gained 3 seconds at least on most other drivers. So Jerry Guerra is up next after his troubles in stage number 1. He never really, wow, that was close. Ooh, almost brushed that wall, but he never really got back from that. This is the stage where he tried to, well, push very, very hard. A lot of risk taken. Oh, that was a little too much risk. A big slide, losing him a little bit of time. His jump, by the way, was perfect a few moments ago. But in the fast section, he was very loose, he said. That, well, could have gone much, much better. And he also lost a little bit of time in there. Also goes way towards the inside, not to where he wanted to be. So eventually, Jerry Guerra, his run could have been better, but it was still a good run. 18:11.54, third fastest stage time. That's important for him, gaining time on the others. So that's what he did, the goal achieved. DJ Kerker, the last car onto the racetrack. So DJ Kerker, we also know that he is very far behind. He is in a direct battle with Jerry Guerra, and he took a little bit less risk than the others, except for this part. oops, into the guardrail. Not what you want. But it didn't lose him a whole lot of time. That was also a big moment. While talking about taking risks, his car was very, was handling pretty great though. And in the fast section, he also did a very well job. So, coming across start finish line, he will put down the 17th fastest time, faster than Jerry Guerra, 18:11.38. So, gaps to the others are shrinking, and DJ Kerker versus Jerry Guerra is still going on. So, let's take a look at the standings after stage 4. We see that John Art is still up front. However, Joseph Ernesto has bumped himself to second place. So, that was a great run for him, what he needed. And then Joshua Michaels, Cody Smart, Gabriel Wanderley, not a whole lot has changed over here. So Sven Meyer currently in 9th, he climbed to 9th. That's also very impressive from 14th to 9th. And the gaps between the 16th, 17th, 8th, between 16th, 17th, 18th and the others also decreases. So that's important for those last 3 drivers. So that was it, ladies and gentlemen, for today, for stage number 4. And up next is stage number 5, the most treacherous stage of all, also the longest stage of all. So probably the times will be somewhere between 5 and 7 minutes. So at least 5 minutes. I think actually at least 6 minutes. So maybe even longer. We'll see what will happen in that stage. Will come in about 2 weeks. So be prepared for that. A lot of excitement, and that will be the ending of this season of this Dascar Rally Championship. So we've had a whole lot of fun so far, but it is not over yet. So be sure to check out the final stage as well when it is uploaded to see who will become your first ever Dascar Rally Championship champion. So for now, I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you back again with the finale of the Dascar Rally Championship season number 1 2016 here on Ziggo Sports.